Hi folks, welcome to Selenium WebDriver series. In this video, let's talk about conditional methods which are isDisplayed, isSelected and isEnabled method in Selenium. Before we begin, if you have not subscribed to the channel, please do subscribe to the channel. So let's get started. So I mentioned about three different methods. One is isDisplayed. So isDisplayed method is something you want to identify on a web page whether that particular web element is visible or not. Then in that case, we can use this isDisplayed method and it returns true or false value. Basically, it is a Boolean value. It returns, if it is visible, it returns true. If it is not visible, then it returns false. Okay. In the same way, for each selected method, you in case on a web page you have radio button and checkbox. Okay, you want to select something and then you have to verify whether it is selected or not, or by default whether it is not selected or not. Something you want to verify whether it is selected or not. In that case, we can use this is selected method on the radio button and the checkboxes. So here as well, it returns the Boolean value. If it is selected, then it returns true. If it is not selected, then it returns false. So by that, we will get to know whether the particular element or radio button or checkbox is being selected or not. Same way, we have is enabled. Okay, is enabled is somewhere, suppose say on a web page, you have a submit button. Okay. So if I can draw quickly. So say there is a form and then here we have certain details. Okay. And then the submit button. But the condition here is upon filling all the details, this submit button gets enabled. Otherwise, this will be disabled. So that is when this is enabled method comes into picture. You can apply it on any of the fields. Suppose whether the field is enabled or not, or a particular button is enabled or not. Okay. So that time you can fill all the information and then you can check whether this button is submit button is enabled or not. So likewise, this is enabled method also returns true in case the button or the element is enabled. It returns false when the element is disabled. Okay. So let's see it with practical example. So today we have taken this application where it contains lot of you know radio buttons are there and then the check boxes are there. Okay. So suppose I want to verify whether this logo, netcode logo, is displayed or not. Then also we can use this method. Suppose I want to right now verify whether this radio and checkbox text is displayed or not. So let's copy this and then we will form an XPath. So we'll form an XPath here. Star, and then let's identify it using the text method. Okay, and then put this. Sometimes there will be some space here, spacing issue. Yes, now it is able to identify. Okay, so let's copy this XPath and we will perform is displayed method and see whether this radio and checkbox, this element is displayed or not on the web page. Let's go to Eclipse. Okay, let's create a new class. Let's say uh, conditional. Okay, Hmm. and select the public static void main and send. First, what we have to do is WebDriver driver is equal to new Chrome driver. Okay, and then go ahead and then import this WebDriver as well. Now driver dot get. So this method will help us to navigate to the website. So I'll just paste this fixed path and then let's copy this, put it here. And let's also maximize the window using driver dot manage dot window dot maximize. So using this method, let's maximize the window. And now let's write the path for this. So driver dot find element. So here y dot with path, okay, and then in the double quotes the X path, okay, and let's store this. This is a type web element, so that's why we will save it in the web element, and then let's say okay, it's equal to this is the text, and also import this web element. Okay, now I want to check whether this particular um, element is displayed or not. So here I'll add is displayed method. Okay. And now let's check this text is displayed or not. So print it in the system.out.println, and then let's say radio button and checkbox. Okay. And now let's try to print this. Text dot is when you type is, there are three conditional methods which returns boolean and which is a type web element. Or basically, um, whenever suppose if you use is displayed method here, then here you have to declare it as boolean only. Okay. So since we are using it separately, then we have used this web element. So let's say the is displayed. Okay. Now let's run this. Okay. Maximized. Yes. Yes. It has returned true. Let's close this, and also we can add driver.quit, so it will directly quit. Driver.quit. Okay. So first method we saw that is displayed. Correct. So here if you hover, you will get to know if the element is displayed or not and what it verifies. Now let's see how does this isSelected method work. So let's comment these two lines as well. So for this isSelected method, here we have something called, see, there are a lot of options we have. Okay. Suppose say I want to check whether this bar, this radio button is selected or not. Okay. So ID is this, not true. So it returned only one element. So ID we can use directly. So what we'll do is, let's say web element. What is that? It is var, right? Var is equal to, so now write private dot find element by dot ID. Using the ID, we are identifying this element. So ID is this, okay? And then now perform the check. So you can say that uh, bar element is selected. So here we'll print the bar dot is selected. Okay, whether it is selected or not. So our expectation is it should return true because here this by default it is selected. Yes. See, it returned true. And in case if here we have other options as well. Okay, let's say how about this checkbox? So we have this remember me as well. Okay. So here also we will check for this remember me whether this is for this checkbox. So let's say double slash star, we will identify it using the text method. So text is equal to this. See, using this, we'll check whether this particular checkbox is checked or not. It is selected or not. Web element, remember me, is equal to driver dot find element here by dot I so it is x path. Okay, put this x path. Okay, and then now let's try to print this same. But let's say let's change this. Remember me is selected or not. Copy this and then put this here. Okay, let's run this now. So here also we have to get true, right? Because it is selected, but it gave us false. Sometime because of the timing gap, it might happen. But still, see, it is returning false. Something might be wrong with this identifying the element because these applications could be okay. So there could be some issue, okay, with this. But ideally, our expectation is that we have to get the true. So now, finally, let's see whether this, uh, what is that? Is there any button? No. But we'll see, uh, we'll take another, which is like orange HRM. Okay, now let's verify this login button is enabled or not. Okay, so now let's comment this as well and we will navigate to this application. Okay, and now let's identify this login button. So we'll identify this using the login. Do we have anywhere login? No. So identified using a text method itself. So text method is equal to login. Okay. So here what we'll do is let's copy one of this. Let's copy both. Let's copy these two lines and verify is enabled or not. Let's remove this. It is login. Okay. So now put this X path here. Okay. And then let's find whether this um, login button is enabled or not. Login button is enable. Let's check. Okay, let's run this. So it is just that we took another application just to make sure whether any button is there or not. So here we had this button. So it will check whether this page is having this login button is enabled or not. So again, it returned us some error. Thread out sleep. Let's add some sleep. 2000 seconds. Um, so here I just added sleep. Okay. Sometimes it might not be able to identify because of the loading issue. Yes, you can see now it maximized. Yes, it returned true. Okay. So this is how we can verify particular element is displayed on the screen or not, it is selected or not, or it is enabled or not. Okay. Hope you learned how we can check the conditional statements, so conditional methods in the Selenium. If you have liked this video, please do like it, share it, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.